The thing about music is that it can influence our emotional state.
So it just gets your mind right. A lot of bass gets my mind going for the day, for a football game.
You know, there are so many similarities with being a musician and even, being an athlete, because the practices are the same. It's just training different muscles.
Since we've been making music, humans have sped up the pace of certain songs with which we want to excite the listeners. There's something about speed that excites us.
Music is the vocal and instrumental sound that combines harmony and emotional expression. On the other hand, sports involves physical exertion and skill, but so does music. Both art forms are significant in everyday life, but their true beauty appears when combined. We found 4 speakers, Professor Costas Karageorghis, Jeremiah Robinson, Dr. Travis Higa, and Dr. Nicholas Ciraldo, all with athletic and musical backgrounds, to better explain music's impact on athletic performance.
A huge interest that I've had is the neurophysiological effects of music in exercise and sport. And that is seeing exactly how the nervous system responds when we hear music in that particular context. This approach has entailed taking an under the bonnet view of the effect of music on athletes and exercisers. Specifically, we've used a broad range of neuroimaging techniques to understand what happens in the brain when individuals are exposed to music. And this approach, over the last decade or so, has given us huge insight as to how exactly music influences the human psyche and how we can tap its powers for ergogenic, work-enhancing effects, but also to make the experience of training and exercise far more pleasurable.
Yeah, so in the weight room, we really push each other. Say we in there doing big weight, like somebody's in there trying to hit like a personal record or anything, just something that's difficult. Our mind would tell us to quit and stuff like that, or to not do that. But our body has way more than what our mind thinks we do.
Music is used in a purposeful manner to psych them up as they go into battle. Now, in ancient times, the music was all about keeping order to the march, syncing the movements of the forces, because in those ancient battles, if you broke your line, it was often the case that you would give the opposing army an advantage.
Whenever we travel with the band, and we're going from point A to point B to new territory, I will always have the band lined up in parade formation and march them to the right place, just like a military. And that's just to move 300 people, 500 in a military efficiently. Marching band in particular is a funny thing because it's combining these fine motor skills and being playing an instrument, but also they're like athletes as well. They have to be, because I mean, our pregame that we march here is exhausting. And not only are they doing that in marching around the field and doing these really tough maneuvers, but they're playing the instrument as well.
A very famous neuropsychologist from Canada, Daniel Levitin, has said that music is famed for its ubiquity and its antiquity. So it pertains to all human cultures and societies, but it's also been with us since time immemorial. And if we fast forward from those Spartans and look at modern day gladiators, who of course we see in sporting events, we see them in the boxing ring, on the American football field, on the running track. They are also making purposeful use of music, be it as walk-on music, as I see in American baseball, week in, week out, be it the reverberation of fans in the stand.
I'm always intrigued by how whenever each batter goes up, they play their like pump-up song, some kind of a song. It's only about 10 seconds, but it's loudly played as they walk from the dugout to the home plate. And I have never talked with a baseball player about it, but I can only imagine that it's to get them pumped up, get them ready. This is their moment, so they get their song. And yeah, I've heard country, I've heard hip hop, I've heard metal, I've heard all kinds of things. And it just kind of, you almost start to wonder about that athlete as a person, you know, like what kind of music they like, who they are, and that kind of thing. It's interesting to me.
Like some days I wake up and I'm in a gospel mood. I listen to gospel. That might just get my day going. Like I might need the word a little bit. You know, we get in the weight room, I might need something a little different. Little rap, little hip hop, keep it going. Little something with some bass in it. Other days, you know, I might want to chill, listen to some instrumental music, R&B type thing. So it just depends, whatever I'm feeling, but all of it motivates me to, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I might need to calm down. Sometimes I need to get hyped. Sometimes, you know, just need to listen to some good music, you know? So like, it just motivates me to like stay in the mood that I'm in or get me in the mood that I need to be.
I was heavily involved in the London 2012 Olympic Games, often looking at the intersection of elite sport and music. And I remember that one of the most blogged topics at those games was what Michael Phelps was listening to on his iPod. In fact, what he was listening to was a particularly rap-centric playlist. I remember there was one track in particular by the American gangster rapper Lil Wayne. Phelps was listening to on a loop going through the rounds. It was a track with the title I'm Me. And if I recall correctly, that track has the refrain, yes, I am the best, and no, I ain't positive, I'm definite. I know the game like I'm reffing it. That refrain contains a huge affirmation for Phelps. Makes him feel as though he's the ruler of his realm.
Pre-game, when I come out here, I usually listen to the music that we play on a Jumbotron. So that's usually hype music, but all that music is really, it's like background noise. Like it's just as in the game, you don't hear the crowd cheering. Like it's stuff you don't notice. So when I'm on the field, I just be locked in already. I might have a song that I listen to still playing in my head, just like repeating it myself. But I usually be locked in. When I come on the field, I just be in my own zone. Of course, everybody knows about like the Sonic Boom and the HBCUs. So like you got Alcorn, Jack State type band, somebody that's playing some crunk music, you know, you can hear that type stuff on the field. You know, that can get you going. Like some old crunk music. That stuff you notice because it's different, you know, and it's loud, you gonna hear it. So that's just how the band affects me and my teammates.
I always have my posts on the students. I always try to ask them, what are some songs that would make us, you know, more relevant sometimes? Sometimes, you know, we also have to play some of the oldies and goodies band tunes, because it's not just, you know, it's a broad audience. But what are some tunes that would kind of hype them up a little bit more? But that's the goal. That's always the goal, and there's never enough time to get everything and make everyone happy.
All forms of human locomotion are rhythmical. And sometimes the trick with athletes is to find tracks that fit in with their own locomotion, with their own pattern of music. One of the best known long distance runners of all time is the Ethiopian Haile Gebrselassie. In February 1998, I was at the Birmingham National Indoor Arena. Haile Gebrselassie was competing at an indoor meet there, over 2,000 meters, and he wanted to make an attempt on the world best. And I recall how he made a really unusual request to the race organizers. He asked for his favorite piece of music, Scatman by Scatman John, to be played during the race. If you don't know Scatman, it's that do, 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 do. The music was blaring over the PA. And I recall how the Ethiopian contingent in the crowd was sent into a frenzy. On that day, Gebrselassie broke Eamon Holmes' world best by 1.5 seconds. That is a huge margin in track and field terms. He was interviewed by a British publication, Athletics Weekly, immediately after the race. and questioned about his choice of music. Haile Gebrselassie said that the music fitted in with his world record pace. And he went on to break several world records. And I think that stands as a beautiful illustration of how athletes can purposely tap the power of rhythm.
When it comes to music, we share similar interests, but often we realize that our tastes may differ more than expected. Regarding athleticism, each individual seeks music that works for them, but not all athletes get their preferred songs included in the rotation of more collaborative environments. Band directors or people controlling the song selection during sport events and workouts attempt to find a middle ground in the music choices that will motivate an entire team. An example would be the newly hired head football coach at the University of Colorado, Deion Sanders. He requested a predominantly white institution to update their song selections, making them similar to the way band members played at the historically black university, Jackson State, where he previously served as the head football coach. Coach Sanders believes the band's performance positively impacts his players' athletic performance.
We like one big happy family. So we go as you guys go. Certain things we like, certain things we don't like. And I want to just get on the same page. And we're probably going to have a new theme song that I want you guys to get, and it's not hard. And I think you can knock it out of the park because it's kind of a band type song. I don't know if you know it, but when I say pregame speech, give me my theme music, and then the music clicks on, because we always have a DJ in the locker room, and here we go. But it'll be even, taking it to a whole nother level when the band is able to execute it. And that's going to be really, really good, really good. And anytime we make plays or whatever, and we take the lead, which we're going to do, we want to.
Just thinking like a turnover situation kind of thing. We want to get that,
We want that to be our heartbeat.
Yeah.
So when they hear that, they know we come.
In this new age of technology, the easy accessibility to music for athletes allows them to listen to their preferred songs on the sidelines and during practices, thanks to headphones and streaming services.
Nowadays, it seems pretty easy to get a phone and some earbuds and go. And like that whole process of kind of changing from listening to music at home on a big stereo to in your car to on an iPod or whatever, thanks to like Apple and many other companies, we're now able to listen to music whenever we want, wherever we are. And yeah, it's kind of turned into this like thing that is happening in the background. I also think that the way music is consumed now through streaming services, we don't identify with an artist as much as maybe has been done in the past. You know, like you would sit, let's say with a big record jacket, and you'd look at it and read all the liner notes, read the lyrics, and sort of study and idolize the recording artist that you're listening to while seated, you know, in your home. Now, you know, you may just hit Spotify and it'll sort of play for you like a playlist of some kind of a vibe, some kind of a genre that, you know, you might be looking for. You have no idea who the recording artist is.
The future of music and athletics promises an even more evident sense of cohesion. For example, many artists and athletes are dabbling in each other's fields because of this. Here we have Professor Costas sharing an experience he had relating to this subject.
Years ago, I got a call from Red Bull, the management company of a very famous British athlete, Di Green. At the time, Di Green was the captain of the Great Britain and Northern Ireland track and field team. He was preparing for the Olympic Games, but it had a rocky time. He'd had an injury to his knee, he'd had an operation, he was feeling kind of down and out. And the idea that they had was for him to have a special track created in preparation for the Olympic Games. So they got me to work with his favorite DJ producer, a guy called Red Light. And Red Light and I worked in the Red Bull studios in central London to come up with a special track that would fuel Di Green's performance. I worked with Di Green in my office and in the lab, seeing how he responded to music. And eventually, Red Light and I came up with the skeleton of a track, and we invited Di Green into the studio, got him to listen to it, give us some feedback. Di Green used that track in preparation for the London 2012 Olympics. It became an integral part of his pre-event routine. In fact, he broke his PR, his personal record, en route to the games. I think it was in Paris at one of the Grand Prix meetings, using that track that was made especially for him. A lot of money goes into sport in terms of athletes' pre-event preparation. So in the future, we will see more and more bespoke pieces of music made for athletes, perhaps with their favorite artists. It might be Shakira or J-Lo or Jay-Z or Beyonce or whoever. It's been said that there's a great chasm, a great gap between sport and music. Both are culturally pervasive. And the key thing is that both are all about emotions. And so it's no surprise that as time moves on, there'll be a stronger and stronger merger and synthesis between music and sport. And I see music artists promoting themselves through sport, but I also see sporting superstars associating themselves more and more closely with music artists. And I think that combined power is absolutely huge in terms of the potential market. So yes, this is indeed something that I think that will be driven by economics, but it will bring sport as an art and music as an art closer together. They will have a symbiotic relationship in the future.
The world of music and sports is constantly changing around us. It is interesting seeing the direction that both are heading towards. But again, the relationship between the two has been introduced previously. It has been the center component of preparation and implementation. So now, do you believe music affects athletic performance?